Good morning. It is Monday, December 31st, the end of 2018, forever and ever. And looking at the ES this morning on the daily chart, we had a retracement on Friday, which then sold off later in the afternoon. So just looking at the daily chart here, the last 3 days we were up, but on Friday you can see the volume dropped off, and then we did retrace back down. It was a shorter range day, and it seems the odds would be, in my opinion, even though we are trading in the upper end of this range here, that at some point today it may uh, either balance or shift downward. However, we do have stochastics turning up, um, and that's a bit bullish. So let's go over to the profiles here. Well, before I do that, let's look at a 30-minute chart. Um, this is the overnight here, and what we've got going back to let's see, Friday, Thursday, and we have a trading range in here. You can see we were above it for half an hour or so, came back down to the bottom, got above it for a little bit, but then it came down, probe below these lows. You can see a indecision here. It just kind of meandered, another stab up, followed by a sharp drop down again, and then we've kind of have levitated, if you will, above 98.75. That's the what I'm putting as the top of the range, which goes back to this high right here. So it seems to be working pretty well. So that actually means that area level might be important to some bullish folks, and so we've got 98.75 as an area to watch. And I have various patterns. I try to kind of find hidden trend lines and stuff. If you look at this chart, it probably won't make any sense to you, but we did draw this pitchfork a few days ago, and it failed right here, and that meant it was bearish, at least for that time being. But so far, it hasn't. I mean, this is sort of, I don't want to say it's irrelevant to me now, because strangely enough, if it gets back up here even far out in the future, this may be an area, if there's other supporting reasons, to consider possibly going short. Anyway, so moving on to the profile. Okay, so this is from. All right, this is going to be kind of short and sweet. As you can see, we seem to have rotated, but if you notice, we've ground up. Well, I haven't looked at it for about an hour, until we had this drop here out of an inside bar in U. And interestingly enough, I put these on there earlier this morning, and this was an area to buy. However, I was watching a video and was not trading at the time. So that's still going to remain as a possible area to buy going forward. Might want to even extend it down a little bit, but let me just put those numbers on here. Okay, makes it easier instead of stretching out the profile too much. But 2501 to 2502 even. So it's just a little point range. Now the gray is sort of a balance, what I'm calling a balance area, where we may poke above it here, and then it trade back down, and then it may just meander in here a bit. Just an area where you could short coming into it, or you're going long coming up into it for smaller trades, depending on your position size. At any rate, well, I'm really disappointed I missed that trade, because I put that on there about, I don't know, I was up really early, 7-ish, 7:30. I put that in here, and we were up in U, so must have been 7:30-ish. So the next place down, there might be a area of buying interest, would be 98 to 98.75, and then below that, we're looking at the top of this L period at 93 up to 95. So a 2-point range around Friday's TPOC. That's the TPO point of control, TPOC. And incidentally, turned out to be the pivot point for today. and then about a point below the overnight low. So this all kind of gels very nicely. Um, this all gels very nicely. And then above for selling, just above the overnight high, above this L high, we have from 12 to 1350 an area to look for. You know, you got to be careful. The R1 is up here, and often traders want to push it up to this level. But that would be a next area to sort of, um, I mean, if your risk is that high, you want to get short right in here and put your stop up that far. You know, you might have time to get out at break even if it isn't going your way because of back and forth action. But that's too much of a stop, in my opinion, unless, you know, I mean, that's everybody's personal tolerance and situation. I wouldn't like it, especially if it seems to be they're trying to push it higher. Um, so anyway, those are the areas. I'm going to keep this very short this morning. Um, that's the areas we've got. Selling just above the overnight high or under the overnight high, depending on what it looks like, you know. And you know, I don't know what kind of anyone watching this, you can use tick charts, numbers bars. That's what they're called in Sierra charts, but you know, order flow techniques and things to determine. Sometimes because I'm on a different, it's a long story. I'm on a different computer, and I don't have um, certain things up that I do often look at to help me with order flow. Um, and that would have helped me the other day on one of the trades I got wiped out on. But uh, at any rate, just want to throw that in there. I haven't mentioned it before since I've been remaking videos. You know, I can make a lot of trades based on the profile alone. And that's certainly one valid way of doing it. The only thing is that there are some enhancements of seeing what's happening a little bit more closely that can tell you if things are shifting in your favor, you know, if the odds are greater, and using a little bit more discretion in taking that trade. But anyway, that's what we're looking at. Of course, anything below any of these levels starts to turn um, bearish. Like I said, I really do believe that we will probably roll over and get back down into this value area here. So you want to be mindful of the 80% rule if we do trade down into value, and then expect that we might have a swing all the way back down to the bottom of the value area. Now, I don't know that we're going to get any further down than that, but I don't know. Being the end of the year, there's a holiday tomorrow. Trading may be light. There was news in China that signals kind of more bearish territory in their manufacturing. I'm not an economist, so I don't know exactly how that will play out for us. But let me go back to the daily chart. 53.25 is 38.2 retracement from this more recent low to the swing high from Friday. And this is regular trading hours. So I can see it today possibly getting down there. Hang on, let me double check this if this is regular trading. Yeah, okay. Want to make sure because every once in a while it gets messed up. So 53.25 is an area to watch for if we do get some downward action for possible area for a low. You know, could even be down as far as 31.75 if there's some extraneous event, but that might be an area where the auction lower starts to falter. That's the way I like to put it. Okay, I can keep on talking here for a minute to see if there's anything I'm missing. I'm actually probably going to hang around for a little bit, but go back to bed. Not that you care, but that's kind of how I'm feeling today. Okay, so I think that'll do it for now for me. And since we do have this little distribution lower just recently off of possibly some news somewhere of why it sold off or just long liquidation, I would initially, again, that's provided we stay within this range. As I mentioned before, I mean, this would have been, I said that this would be an area to short back down to the other side here. Look, this is already working for 1.5, you know. If we open down here below 350, let's say, I would look for a short around the VPOC, possibly. Now, if you've been watching these videos at all, my gray areas are not just figurative; they're literally gray areas. Like, you know, it's sort of could go either way. They're more balancing areas. They're places of, where it might be, what am I trying to say? Excuse me. Well, it could get above the VPOC, take out the X high, W high. It could even pop on up. This 08 level was maybe still as important, but we've got the overnight value area high. I'm going to take it out and remove it. It was a high from on the way down in the daily, but we have penetrated that and been back and forth through it enough that, yeah, there are people who may be still indecisive at that area, but I'm gonna remove it because we have other reasons to be paying attention to that area as well. Notably, this there's this volume has dropped off. The low volume areas tend to be areas of, I mean, you look at it like this: the higher the volume is often areas of acceptance, and this is areas of rejection. And when we get above it, there was some acceptance, but ultimately it came back to greater value, greater interest. At auction lower, found buyers, come up, found sellers here. So right now it's the action's really I want to say stable. Yeah, stable. Stable is a good word. So let's say we opened in 1 minute. Because it is the holiday season, it's the end of year. It could be, some people maybe, it just could be very volatile. Even though it's very stable right at the moment, I'm not sure that I would want to necessarily take that. If it opened and hesitated right here for a bit, I would probably want to take a short here. Maybe go a little conservative, closer to the X high, or right at, I don't know. Again, that's more of might be better to wait till it comes back in and then using a tick chart or something, get in on a reversion to a mean. Maybe at some point I'll talk more about that. Or if I do a live room, there's lots of entry techniques that one can use. I tend to, a lot more often than not, I find myself just trading off the profile chart. But I do have a lot of other techniques I could use. I ought to use them more. But in the meantime, my office is kind of a in transition of moving from one place to the other, and I don't have my full quote setup going. All right. Well, it's been nice visiting with you. I'll say happy New Year, and no regrets. Don't feel bad about anything that didn't go your way this year. Like I said in the video, don't take a loss, take a lesson. Whatever happened, I'm talking to myself now. Just keep on trucking, man. Just keep on trucking and be happy. Do good work. Be good to people and be kind. And you know, read your Bible. So I will, with that, sign off. I hope you have a good day. I probably will do a trading review if I do any trades, or maybe I will a little later. But I am going to hang out for probably a half an hour. But I've been doing a cleanse. And if anybody is familiar with doing that kind of thing, it can make you feel tired. You can and that's where I'm at. So all right, I'll talk to you later. Hopefully, bye.